killergf had an amazing launch. When the reveal happened, there was no floor price drop, it just rocketed to the sky. Let's jump in and check out the post-drop stats. Now first up I want to say I'm not actually going to cover what killergf is, I'm just going to cover the post-drop stats. Also, I'm not a financial advisor, you need to do your own research before jumping into the NFT space. So killergf dropped, it was absolutely insane. Let's just get straight into the statistics. At the moment the floor price is sitting at around 2, we've got 7,777 and we've got a good distribution of owners. When we head over onto Nansen, we can get an idea of what has happened in the run up to the reveal and then the drop. It was deployed 6 days ago and it's just been running up since. So we can just see a steady climb from essentially sort of 0.58. This is the average price, the blue line. And then as the reveal happened, it just rocketed straight up. There's been insane amounts of volume as well, which is crazy. Now I'm going to head over onto IC Tools very quickly just to kind of give you a more in-depth look of the individual transactions. We can see that there was a resistance at the 2 ETH mark, but then as soon as the reveal happened, everything boosted up. Then the 2 ETH mark was essentially the support. Now heading back over onto Nansen, what's interesting about these individual transactions is that we've had Pranksy buy one for 55 ETH. And I was actually using Ninja Alerts earlier and check out all of these transactions that actually popped up. Pranksy was just sweeping the, well, not necessarily sweeping the floor, he was just sweeping up all of the NFTs that he actually wanted himself, including that 55 ETH one. And if you want to have a look at the one, this is what Pranksy swept for 55 ETH. So whoever minted this had an absolutely great time. We can see here, they minted it, sold for 55 ETH. What a great flip by this guy. Now, when we have a look at the top balances, this is where it kind of shows a bit of the strength and shows that this is lining up to become a blue chip NFT. We can see the top holder, 76 NFTs, 69, 67, and then we end up the top 20 rounds at around 20. And then when it comes down to notable names, we've got Pranksy, we've got Fleur, we've got a couple of others that you might recognize around here. So the fact that we've got some big names in it is quite good. When it looks at top balances over time, after the reveal, some of them have offloaded, but they are still holding a large bag when it comes down to killergf. The smart money over time, not much we can kind of take. It offloaded a bit of the bag, and then right towards the reveal, they've kind of loaded up on some, but not much you can take away. It's kind of canceling each other out. When we have a look at the distribution of holders on this project, we're currently sitting at the 4,586 mark. So basically we're just shy of the 60% holder mark, which is good, which is strong, which I like to see. When it comes down to the percentage holding one NFT, we can see that this is kind of dropping off. This makes sense because of pre-sales, etc. But the fact that this is dropping off, what this shows me is it shows me that people that are actually in this project are taking them off essentially the holders that only have one, and they're kind of loading up. So people are doubling down. So I don't see this as a bad thing. I see this as a good thing. The fact that there are more people buying into it. And saying that, the percentage is at 75%, which is great. Now, usually I really like a high percentage of people only holding one NFT. But when I have a look at some of the people that are actually holding it, it shows that people want to kind of keep running this up a little bit more. So I'm not saying that this is a short-term sort of ride up and flip, but the fact that people that are holding these are accumulating more, and that is evident by the fact that the percentage holding one NFT is dropping, means that people that are holding one NFT are selling it to someone that already holds one, so we're reducing that, but overall the percentage is quite high. So I see this very strong in the short term with people accumulating more, but this may then cap out a price later on, but this comes down to the individual people holding onto the project, and the fact that we have a big name like Pranksy loading up on this shows that I feel like this isn't too bad. If we didn't have some notable names and notable hype around this project, then I would be a little bit worried when it comes down to this, but overall I don't see that as a bad thing. Coming down to the profit leaderboard, what we can see here is that the profit taken 54, which is that big flip that guy made to Pranksy. Then we've got sort of 49, 39, and essentially the top 20 kind of round out at 8. Now, what I can notice here is that even though we are seeing a lot of people that have exited the project, there are people that haven't offloaded all of them. So we can see this guy bought 9, sold 2. We can see this person bought 3, sold 2, bought 8, sold 1. So I see this as a very strong thing because the profit takers have offloaded some of the ones that they kind of just wanted to offload to kind of recoup some of these costs. Now it looks like they're in this project for the long term. They're in this project for a while. And this is why I believe this is kind of shaping up to be a very strong project long term, just because of the holders that are in this project, what the profit takers have done, and the percentage holding one NFT. Essentially, the people that are in this project are accumulating more and more over time, which is crazy. Now, when we have a look at where the entry points for some of the smart money and top 5 buying addresses are, what we can see is that there was this steady trend up, and then when we had the reveal day, they were just scooping up rarities that they actually wanted and ones that they actually wanted, which I like to see. Same thing when it comes down to the smart money, where the smart money has bought, and the smart money has bought them in at around that sort of 2 to 2.5 ETH mark as a whole, but there have been some sort of outliers, but we have got some of these big purchases like Pranksy. And then having a look at the recent transactions, this is absolutely flying. Now this chart is sort of 17 minutes old, but we can see here that we've gotten over a 1 hour period, we're essentially getting sort of 35, 40 sales, which isn't bad, especially considering that these are at 2 ETH, so it is moving quite fast. And at this point in time, it's like very early in the morning in the States, so the fact that it's moving like this does look quite good. So where could killergf go over the next week or so, and what's some of my price predictions and price targets? What you'll notice here is that killergf, I think, has gained popularity off the back of Azuki. Now, when we actually have a look at Azuki, we can see here the reveal happened at around here, then it has just had a run up from there. The fact that Azuki was sitting around that sort of 4 to 5 ETH mark, and then it's gone up and essentially doubled. I'm not saying that killergf is going to double from this point, but looking at these two charts, we can see that it did run down, it kind of pumped up, it rode a little bit, dipped off a touch, and then back up, which makes me think that when we have a look at killergf, we've hit this little bit up here, it'll drop back down, and we might get a floor price of closer to that sort of 1.5 mark, but the average price will sit up quite high. This is the average price. Then what I can see it happening is the floor price getting to around that 5 ETH mark. Now this is contingent on this meta continuing and the hype continuing to build around this project, but the fact that we've got some huge purchases being made on this project, and the fact that some of the people buying into this project are buying what they actually want. They're not trying to buy the floor, they're buying traits that they want. Now I see this as huge blue chip potential, because when people are buying what they want for a particular price and not sweeping the floor, they're not seeing this as a value transaction, they're seeing this as an art transaction and buying something that they like. So when you see something like this, the fact that we're seeing a giant block where people are buying anything and everything that they want that resonates with them, that just gives you blue chip sort of vibes when it comes down to the project. So I hope you found value in this video in what I've done with the breakdown with killergf, and then also where it could possibly go in the weeks to come. Now, like I said, this is not financial advice. You have to do your own research when it comes down to it, because things can change in a heartbeat. So overall, I hope you found value in this video. If you did, please consider hitting up that subscribe button. While you're down there, also hit up the like button. As always, it's been a pleasure having you with me. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.